everybody. So today is another one of those slightly weird Vlogtober videos where I wasn't really feeling filming during the day. I was quite tired. I had a day off with Emrys and all I wanted to do was just spend time with him. Recently, in one of the comments that I got on Vlogtober, someone suggested that I take you through my languishing whips, which I thought was a really good idea, and I thought I'll keep that for one of these episodes when I don't much feel like recording during the day. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys all of my languishing whips. For those of you who've been following Vlogtober, you'll know that I am currently going through all of my works in progress because I'm trying to get things finished before little mini Matthews arrives, because goodness knows once the little human is here my knitting time is going to be considerably less than it is now. So what I've done, I'm sitting in the new study upstairs and I've moved all of my project bags into here because this is essentially where they're going to be stored. So I'm just going to grab a bag at random and see what's in there and just talk you through what that project is. And yeah, hopefully it will be of some interest to some of you. So I'm going to start off with some projects that have been featured on Vlogtober because that means that the more interesting ones will come a bit later. First of all is something that I have been putting quite a bit of time on recently, and that is my row cardigan. This is my lovely row cardigan. The pattern is by Michelle Wong, and I actually started this, it would be 2 Vlogtobers ago now. It's knit out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Truffle Hunt, I believe it's Truffle Hunt or Truffle Hunter, Truffle Hunt. I'm gonna go with Truffle Hunt colourway, and it is cabled over the entire thing. Now I have knit all of the body pieces, all of the sleeve pieces, and I'm in the process of seaming this together so that I can then pick up the collar details, get that knitted, and then this will be finished. So to be honest, of all of my works in progress, I envision that this is probably the one that is going to be finished next, which is very exciting because I love this pattern, but also it's a big project. Look at all that yarn that's in there. It's going to be a really lovely, big, oversized cardigan, and I can't wait to wear it. Next up is another project that is pretty mammoth, that's been getting a lot of screen time on the Vlogtober videos recently, and that is my Cozy Memories blanket. I got this out. I don't really know what made me reach for this project. I think it's when the weather changes you automatically want to reach for big blanket projects because you can kind of wrap yourself up in them while you're working. But I've been working on this for many years. For those of you who want details of the kind of the squares and everything that I do, this is one of the only projects that I do have a Ravelry project page for. I am notoriously bad at keeping up to date with my Ravelry, but this I do have one, and all of the details are on there. So I will link the project page just down below if you want to see the details. But I worked out, I had knit it up to a certain point, and then I had a kind of weird triangle of mitered squares going upwards. And I realised that that was probably as big as I wanted the blanket to be. And to square that off, I would need to knit 4 squares a day, but that would mean that this was finished in less than 2 weeks. I believe it was 12 or 13 days in total. And so far I have been keeping up to date with putting 4 squares into it every day. I've also gone through all of my mini skeins and I have a lot picked out. So basically this is currently one of my main works in progress, no longer languishing, and I am really enjoying it. It's a lovely thing to knit on in front of the TV. And I just can't wait for it to be finished. It's going to be lovely and snuggly, and yeah, it will be a great project to finally get off the needles. So yay, Cozy Memories blanket. In the same vein as the Cozy Memories blanket was another project that involves blankets, because it's a blanket. It's my other blanket project that I have, which is my granny stripe blanket. I started this blanket last Christmas when my lovely friends Nikki, Amy and I decided to do advent calendars for each other, and I started putting them into this blanket. The last time that I had worked on it was at Edinburgh Yarn Festival this year, and it's growing quite long. It's quite long now. This is kind of the size of it just now. And the reason that I have stopped working on it again is that I made a magic cake for this blanket with lots of mini skeins. I magic knotted them all together and just crocheted along. So I essentially just went back to this, got it out, and crocheted and crocheted and crocheted until that magic ball, magic cake was finished. And I have not yet made another cake. So this has kind of gone back into languishing territory. And I think that's because it's not huge. So I think there's still going to be a fair amount of time before this is actually finished. Whilst with the Cozy Memories blanket, that feels like an achievable goal to actually have that finished soon. But once I have finished the Cozy Memories blanket, I think what I will do is start putting together another magic ball, because I like working that way. It's a little bit more mindless. I probably won't do as massive a magic ball as I did for this one, but then I will attach it up and just work on it on an as and when basis, because I think it will be a good project to work on when the baby arrives, because it's easy just to pick up, start and then put down again. So yeah, loving the granny stripe blanket. So now we're starting to get into slightly more random territory in terms of these project bags, because I can't really remember what I've got in each one. So let me grab something and we'll just see what comes out. Okay, so this is actually a relatively new cast on. It's living in this adorable project bag. Is this not just the cutest thing? Living in here is a project that I'm really, really loving, but it hasn't actually had much work on it recently because of all of the sweater projects that I've been working on. But it is, in fact, my S shawl. So this is a pattern by Anna Maltz, the incredible author of Marlisle, and this is my first ever Marlisle project. Now I am really enjoying this project, but I must say the Marlisle technique, because it uses kind of multiple skeins of yarn, it's not the quickest thing. So it has rather taken a bit of a backseat, I'm not gonna lie, particularly because there's a lot of other projects that I've been working on that are basically really close to being finished. So my focus has definitely been on those rather than this one. But I'm really, really loving the shawl. I want the finished object. So hopefully once I've got some of these other languishing whips off the needles, this will be the next one that gets some attention. Another newer cast on, you will have already seen this if you have been following my Vlogtober videos, is this lovely little fella. This is as far as I've got so far on the Clark socks, which is a pattern by lovely, lovely Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit podcast. I am obsessed with this pattern. I love it so much. And it's actually really difficult for me not to spend and it's actually been really difficult for me not to spend all of my time knitting on this, because I love the yarn. The yarn was a gift from Republica Unicornia and it's beautiful, and the cable pattern is just gorgeous. I love the yarn, I love the pattern, I want the finished object, but I am thinking that I should probably keep this for an in labour project because it makes me really, really happy to work on it. But perhaps I could finish the first one, then have the second one kind of started, ready for labour knitting, who knows. But anyway, Clark socks. This is currently the only pair of socks that I have on the needles, but it was a cheeky new cast on that I cast on for my trip to London for kind of transportable projects, because as you can see, the majority of my other whips are fairly monumental projects, not the most travel friendly, shall we say. Up next, I have another sweater project. This has also been featured on Vlogtober recently, and I do love this. Oh my goodness, I love it. so much, and it is my soiree sweater. It's beautiful. It's knit out of Stranded Dye Works. It is her MCN base and her mohair silk base held double in the Shiner colourway, and Amy is just, oh, she's just a dyeing genius. This is so gorgeous. I finished the front piece and the back piece, and I have started one of the sleeves. So it's cracking on at a fairly good pace, but I'm so close to finishing the row cardigan that this again has gone slightly into more languishing status, shall we say. But this is another project that I'm very excited to have off the needles. It is irritating the amount of garments that I currently have on the needles, which are very, very close to being finished. Because sleeves don't really take, I mean, I say sleeves don't take very long, but I always complain that I'm on Sleeve Island. But it feels like the majority of the work has been done, and I really, really want it finished because I want the finished garment. Again, now the weather is turning, this is something that I could wear all the time, and I love it. And I want to be matching with Amy because she has already knitted this sweater in this exact same colourway, and I feel like we need to be knitting twinsies. But yes, loving that pattern. And again, once I have finished the row cardigan, that will probably be the next garment that I start putting all of my efforts into to get completed. I have, I believe, 2 more works in progress, languishing whips, which are just over here. Let me reach and grab them. One more garment, which is a garment that has not seen the light of day in a very long time, and that is the Boland cardigan. Do you remember this one, you guys? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is kind of my whip of shame. Oh, it's so pretty. I really should get this finished. Every time I see this, I think I should get this finished. But basically, this is a project that I have had on the needles. I don't even remember how long it's been on the needles, and I have not worked on it for many, many a year. It currently has the entire body completed, and it has one half of the sleeve completed, and I really do want to get this finished at some point. I think this will be make or break for this cardigan, to be honest. Once I have finished my row cardigan and my soiree, what I'm going to do is pick this up again, see how I feel about it, knitting it, and whether or not it's working for me, and we'll go from there. Either I will finish it, I will start it and I will finish it, or I will frog it. Yeah, I'm being that brutal because it's been a whip for far too long and the yarn is wonderful, and I would like to use the yarn for something else maybe, but we'll see, we'll see. I hope that I will fall back in love with it and want to finish it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, you guys. It's very dramatic. But yes, that's the last garment that is currently a work in progress. One more whip, and this one, very naughtily, I removed the needles from, which was a little bit cheeky, but the reason that I could do that is that the yarn that I'm using is really, really sticky, so it's fine. But it was this mitten. This is one of my lovely friend Ellie of Skein Deer's mitten patterns from her first mitten collection, the Selby Mitten Club, and I've basically knitted almost the entirety of the cuff and was about to start working on the hand of the mitten. I actually started doing the thumb increases just here, but I needed the needles for a different project, so I pulled them out of this, which, like I said, every single stitch is still here. Not a single stitch has been dropped because this yarn, which I think is by Raumer, just holds its shape beautifully. But yes, I would. Oh, it's not Raumer, it's Navia. Navia Trio is what it is. Thank goodness I kept the label in here. But yes, once I get a minute, I should really put the needles back in here and finish these, because these will be gorgeous, and whether or not they're for me or they end up being a Christmas gift or something like that. They are really, really lovely, and I love Ellie's patterns, so I do definitely want to crack on with those once I've got some other things off the needles. But yeah, you guys, that is everything in terms of my languishing whips. It's quite a lot, but it's definitely not completely unmanageable, and fingers crossed there's a good few projects that I can get completed before little mini Matthews comes along. And I also won't feel too guilty then about perhaps casting on some new things, because I am getting the itch to cast on some new projects. But that's everything that I have for you today. I hope that that's been enjoyable for you, a little bit rambly, but it definitely shows you where I am in my knitting life. I'd love to know what your longest languishing whips are and whether or not this has spurred you on to get some things finished yourself. But for now, from me to you, I hope you have a really awesome day, and Vlogtober will continue tomorrow with service as usual. Have a great one, guys. Bye!